Okay, let's talk about the 4-hour work week. I mean, that title, it sounds totally impossible, right? But for more than a decade now, this one book has sparked so much debate. It's inspired a whole generation of entrepreneurs, and it's really made us rethink our entire relationship with work. And yeah, that question, could you really work only 4 hours a week? It's designed to grab you. But here's the thing. The core idea has nothing to do with being lazy. It's all about a complete teardown and rebuild of what we think productivity is. The goal isn't to literally punch a time card after 4 hours. It's about making a huge shift in how we work. So, what is the philosophy? Well, at its heart, it's about focusing on outcomes, not the hours you punch in. It's about designing a life of freedom by being effective, not just busy. It completely throws out that old deferred life plan. You know the one. Grind it out for 40 years and then you can finally relax when you retire. Instead, it's like, no, let's design the lifestyle we want right now by getting really, really good at efficiency, delegation, and leverage.
All right, so to really get our heads around this, we're going to walk through the book's core framework. We'll touch on that 4-hour fallacy, what that name is really all about. Then we'll define what it means to be the new rich. We'll dive into how to eliminate waste using the 80-20 rule, how to automate your systems, and finally, how to liberate yourself to see some real results. And at the end, we'll ask the big question, does any of this still hold up today?
Okay, first up, we've got to define the goal. And it's a totally different goal than what most of us are taught. We're not talking about saving up a huge pile of cash for some far-off retirement. The whole objective here is to become what the book calls the new rich. And this slide just lays it out so clearly. You've got the traditional path on one side. Work 9 to 5 for 40 years, save for retirement, enjoy life later. It's all about being busy. But then you have the new rich. Their model is totally different. It's about working when and where you want, creating income streams that work for you, and designing your ideal lifestyle today. The focus shifts from being busy to being effective. So you might be asking, okay, how do I actually do that? Well, the first step, and honestly the most important one, is what he calls ruthless elimination. This is where you start clawing back your time, your focus, and your energy. And it all starts with this simple but incredibly powerful ratio that pretty much governs everything in business and in life. You've probably heard of it, the Pareto principle. The basic idea is that in almost everything, roughly 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. So your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to figure out what that vital 20% is for you, and then get ruthless about eliminating, ignoring, or automating pretty much everything else. That's the secret to being effective. But to really zero in on that crucial 20%, you have to get rid of all the noise, all the distractions. And this is where a pretty radical idea comes in, the low information diet. It's basically a strategy of actively choosing to be ignorant about things that are irrelevant, unimportant, or that you can't do anything about anyway. And this table breaks it down perfectly. You've got your general information, think cable news, most websites, ads, stuff that's totally out of your control. The advice? Just avoid it. Then you have specialized information, books, blogs, courses that you choose yourself because they help you. That's the stuff you want to consume. It's all about filtering out the junk. You can actually try this out for yourself with a simple 1-week challenge. Think of it as an information rehab. For 1 week, no TV, no news websites. Only check your email twice a day. Social media, once. And for goodness sake, turn off all those push notifications. See what happens. Most people report a huge jump in focus and clarity. Okay, so once you've cut out all the non-essential stuff, what's next? What's next? You automate what's left. This is all about building systems that basically run themselves, so you're not constantly putting out fires. It frees you up to do the important big picture thinking, or, whatever else you'd rather be doing. And one of the most practical ways to get started with automation is to delegate. We're talking about hiring a virtual assistant. They can handle all that recurring time-sucking stuff, managing your calendar, organizing your inbox, updating your CRM, customer emails, all the administrative junk that keeps you chained to your desk. And this quote from Manish Sethi, wow, it just perfectly captures the end goal. He says, I currently work exactly 3 hours and 59 minutes per week. My VAs literally do everything without me. I go to sleep, wake up, and check how much money I've earned. I mean, think about that. He built a machine, a system that makes money for him, whether he's awake or asleep. That's the power of automation. Okay, so what's the point of all this?
You do the defining, the eliminating, the automating. What's the big payoff?
Well, let's look at what liberation actually looks like for real people. Here's a great example from Gary Misner, a 22-year-old entrepreneur. He said, the philosophy was really about living more, not just working less. For him, it wasn't just about getting away from the family business. It was about creating the freedom to travel, to get healthy, to actually spend quality time with his family. See? The goal isn't an empty calendar. It's a fuller life.
And if you think this is just for single 20-somethings, check out Chuck Holton's story. He left the corporate grind, took his 5 kids on a year-long mini-retirement to Panama. How? He automated his income streams, and now he's teaching his own kids how to do the same thing. That's incredible. And here's another one. The Soul Travelers 3 family proves that, yes, families can absolutely live this dream. They have been traveling the world nonstop with their kid since 2006. It's not just a pipe dream for solo entrepreneurs. And get this, the number here is key, $25,000. That's the annual budget they live and travel the world on. It's just a brilliant illustration of a key point. Living a rich life doesn't necessarily mean you need to be rich.
Okay, but let's be real. A lot of these stories are from a few years back. So the big question we have to ask is any of this still relevant? Does this whole philosophy still work now, in the age of AI and remote work everything?
So let's hit that question head on. With all the tech we have now, remote work, AI, global connectivity, is the 4-hour workweek easier to pull off or harder? Well, the answer is a resounding yes. The principles are actually more relevant than ever. I mean, think about it. Forced prioritization boosts your productivity. Having less on your plate actually frees up brain space for creativity. And it's a great way to avoid burnout. Plus, with the tools we have today, global talent pools at our fingertips, powerful AI, delegation and automation are easier than they've ever been. You know, when you boil it all down, the entire philosophy is built around this one powerful question from Tim Ferriss himself. If you could 10x your per-hour output, how would your life and business change? It's not about being lazy. It's about being incredibly effective with the time you do spend working. And that really leaves us with one final thought. You don't have to completely upend your life overnight, but just think about it. What is the first non-essential task you could either eliminate or automate right now to start reclaiming some of your time? What would that one thing be?